Yeah, very warm welcome. This is Andy. This is Monday. This is the 12th of December. And we're hoping to talk with Arthur Rafferty tonight regarding his story and the issues surrounding his father's death many, many years ago, and some of the issues that are happening at the moment in Northern Ireland. Now, as usual, I've just done a show with another person, a new computer, different computer, no problem at all. And now Arthur Rafferty, I'm having trouble connecting to him. So I did ask him if anyone can help me out here. Get a pen and paper, please. Or type it in your browser or your email or whatever. Now Arthur needs to call 347 677 0812. That's a US code. It's 347 677 0812. The reason for that is because my Skype keeps defaulting back to you've got to give me your number before you call, otherwise, the system won't allow the call. But what the problem is, I'm allowing people to call with no number held and all that, but it just seems to want to play games with me. And it defaults back to block calls when phone number is hidden or when it's in my contact list. Now, I think that's really, really someone deliberately doing that. The only person that's got access to my Skype is me, really. I change my passwords daily now on everything I do. I change computers as well and still getting blocked somehow. I don't know how this is being managed, but I'm getting claps from the audience. Thank you, audience. So I'm looking for Arthur to call in. I'm 347 677 0812.
This is Arthur Rafferty. He is 70 years old and terminally ill from asbestos poisoning. For the past 36 years, Arthur has been trying to find the man who murdered his father.
My father in 1974 on the 15th of August was in a bar in North Belfast called the Hole in the Wall. Two doctors told my father a story. Whatever they told him, it must have been good, because my father was not a stupid man. So he left his drink and walked out with them. He came past number 12. Two men were waiting in number 12, one with a loaded armalite rifle. They came out of the house. The father knew there was something wrong. They ran, and they chased after the father, shot him 12 times, and the father lay here.
Both Arthur and his father were part of a dockers union run by known members of the IRA. As Arthur began looking deeper into his father's murder, the connection became increasingly apparent.
My father was murdered because he spoke out against our union. Our union was run by Sinn Féin IRA, and all the top men in the top jobs of our union were all members of Sinn Féin IRA. And my father spoke out against them time and time again because he would take no nonsense from them, and they didn't like that. North Belfast in the 1974s was packed day and night with army and police. You couldn't have got walking whereas you were stopped and questioned. Yet these people had time to come walk my father for 500 yards down into Newington Street and shoot my father at my father 12 times. Go into the house again, put the gun away, walk down the street past my father who was lying in the street bleeding to death, get into a taxi and get down to the New Lodge Road without meeting any police or army. That to me sounds funny. Number 12 was a safe house for the area. The police got information about a week or so after that about a rifle was in that house. Someone phoned in. The police raided that house, found the rifle, found a magazine, found ammo, found gloves, balaclava and a boiler suit. They all went missing. A brown envelope with 2 bullets in it was put through the mother's letterbox. A little note on it, this is for your 2 sons, get them out of the country. But I'm still here.
After over 30 years of asking questions and getting answers few and far between, in 2005, Arthur got a call from the most unlikely of sources, one-time IRA company commander, Brendan Hughes.
Brendan Hughes phoned me out of the blue. I never met the man in my life. He's told me he wanted to meet me, he read my story in the paper, and he wanted to speak about the Falls murder. Well, I had 2 minds about going there because I was going right into the heart of the Lower Falls, which was run by these people. Plus, they lived in a big high-rise flats. There was only 1 door in and 1 door out, the same door. But I made my mind up to go after I've been fighting this case for a long time. I went up and I spoke to the man. He shook hands with me. I explained who I was. He told me who he was. We went in, we had a cup of tea. And then he started to tell me. He told me exactly what happened, as I told you. But I believe him, because after all, the boss of the IRA is on television day and daily saying he was never in the IRA. At least this man came out and told me the truth. And I believe he told me the truth because he knew he was dying, the man, and he wanted to ease his conscience.
The truth that Rafferty heard was that his father was shot by Freddie Scappaticci, the head of the IRA's punishment squad. In 2003, Scappaticci was revealed to be a high-level agent for British intelligence, solidifying Rafferty's claims of a cover-up. Since, Scappaticci has fled the country.
Scappaticci has signed an affidavit that his solicitor holds that if anything ever happens to him, he's to release that. Many a people, a person, he's put to death with the knowledge of the RUC. And if he fell, the whole of Stormont would fall. It's as simple as that. But the police and the HET and the Ombudsman and the other corrupt people up in Stormont may be hating this fellow Scappaticci in London. He's not too far away from me. And now if he wants to try and take out another Arthur Rafferty, let him come to me. Simple as that. I've lost my life in a way that it's a vicious circle. This corrupt union that tortured my father and helped to murder my father has also killed me. I'm down. Same people. Yet these people, when I walk past them in the street, go to the other side of the street. If they're driving past me in a car and they see me coming, their head shoots the other way. They don't want to talk to me. I told my father when he was down in the hospital, he was cut practically in 2. The doctors in the hospital didn't. They told me that time I went in the first night and he would die that night. That man lasted for nearly 4 weeks. A good strong man. And he told me everything bar the people that done it. And I want to make sure that his story is heard. I told him I wouldn't leave it until I do.
freedomtalkradio.co.uk.
Let's go!
This is the most diverse, most amazing, one of the funniest radio stations you could ever listen to on the internet. I've heard so much stuff from the ups to downs, the left to right.
The politics, the non-politics, the schmolitics, whatever you want to call them.
It's great.
Yeah, welcome back after that audio clip of Arthur Rafferty and all that issues surrounding his father. Now, it must be, very heartwarming to know that your son was going to stay out there and just stay out there literally and not go anywhere until the answers are there. Now, joining us on the line through a prayer to God, whoever he may be in your life, or I know who my God is, but Arthur Rafferty managed to get on the phone, and we've been having so many issues with connection because we believe that we're being controlled by the authorities because they don't want this show to go out. And once it's on YouTube, I'm going to blog it every day until justice is done for this man. I mean, he's not a young gentleman, so welcome Arthur to the show. And I thought I'd play that little clip because that was really the story in a nutshell. And I first played Belfast Child because to me, when I was growing up as a youngster, that Simple Minds track reminded me of the Northern Ireland conflict, which we can talk about a little later. But we'll carry on with your story first, and welcome to the show, Arthur.
Thank you very much.
You're very much welcome, and it's a flexible show. You can have a break if you need it. Just let me know, and I'll play another clip. You can, it's not waffle on, what's the word? You can carry on speaking without breathing until 9 p.m, or we can interact. You know, there's no rules. We just do this from the bottom of our hearts. You know, all we ask is that we respect each other when we're speaking, which, you know, we will. And
surely.
It's not a problem when there's only two of you on. So I've been hearing a lot of stories that, you know, apart from trying to find justice for Dad, you're actually involved in kind of the political stuff that's going on, meaning the cross-border trafficking of children that have been taken under the forced adoption umbrella. You've tried to help families. You've got a few people that are doing that with you. It's mainly justice for families and the peace you're trying to get for these families. We've got people like Dee, Tracy Morris. We've got David, different people, Patrick, all running around at their own pace and at their own expense, trying to help people in Northern Ireland. So tell me, you know, carry on a bit more about your dad's story, and then what do you do to help others after that?
Well, I'll tell you, if you want, now, I have a couple of statements wrote out here. The problems I have had with the RUC PSNI here in Northern Ireland.
Perfect. You read them out, my friend.
In 2004, the Chief Constable here, Q. Ord, took Freddie Scapatici to court in Belfast, charging him as being a British agent, codenamed Steak Knife. Now, the judge was Lord Chief Justice Robert Carswell. Now, during the hearing, two British agents from MI5 walked into the court and stopped the hearing and took Scapatici out of the court, saying he had no case to answer here in Ulster. After Scapatici had sworn that he was not Steak Knife, he had committed perjury. Now, leading both the Lord Chief Justice Carswell and the Chief Constable Ord standing there like two muppets. It was then that they flew Scapatici over to London, where no charges were ever fixed against him. Now, I was threatened by the RUC PSNI many times not to put stories about Scapatici on YouTube or the papers, or I would be arrested and jailed. I have put dozens of stories and pictures about Scapatici, and nothing has happened. Now, the BBC here in Belfast has refused to take my stories about my father's murder by police informer Scapatici. Also, the UTV have refused to air my story, putting the blame on MI5 and MI6, who tell them what to write and what not to write. Now, when my father was in hospital, two special branch officers came to his bed, wanting him to sign a handwritten statement saying that he left the bar on his own and walked towards Newton Street, where he was attacked by two men who shot him and ran off towards the Taggers Bay area. Now, I took the note as it was a complete lie, as the Taggers Bay area is a loyalist area, and they wanted to say that it was loyalist men who shot my father, which was a lie. I want to know why the RUC PSNI, who have over 7,000 policemen on their force, and they still have to recruit Sinn Féin IRA terrorists as informers to work for them. Also, members of the UDA and the UDF work for them, and their job is to kill innocent members of the public. Now, what sort of a police force has to depend on those scum to do their dirty work for them? And they are paid out of the public purse. Now, the RUC PSNI have hundreds of Sinn Féin IRA informers, also hundreds of UDA and UDF informers working for them. Their top informer was Freddie Scapatici. He was known as the jewel in the crown for the British government. He was their special agent. He was also an RUC, PSNI, Special Branch Informer, also an MI5, MI6 agent. He also was an agent for the FRU, that is the Forces Research Unit, and a group known by the British Army, and also a British agent. Now, I wrote to Mr. Dillon of the War Crimes Commission in 2002 about my father who was murdered by the British state, who were at war in Belfast. The British agent who shot my father was Ferry Scabatice, aka State Knife was his code name, he was also a member of Sinn Féin ARA, who were at war with the British Army at that time in Ulster. Therefore, my father was a war casualty, yet that scum, Mr. Dillon of the War Crimes Commission, said that my father was not a war casualty. What can you expect? After all, Britain and America run the War Crimes Commission, and you don't expect them to blame their own British Army. Now, the RUC, PSNI, gathered evidence at my father's crime scene: a rifle, bullets, magazine, gloves, boiler suit, private papers, a balaclava. All were taken to a police station at York Road in Belfast for safekeeping. Now, after many years, suddenly all the evidence disappeared out of a fortified police station, and no one was ever charged. Also, the police knew who murdered my father from 1974 and has hit all the fatal evidence along with their scapitice. Every chief constable from 1974 right up until 2016 have known and have withheld fatal evidence about my father's murder. That is a crime in itself. I will be calling for the corrupt RUC, PSNI to be disbanded immediately, and those who have been mated by the Queen to be stripped of their titles immediately, also their wives. I will be taking my case to the European Courts of Human Rights, charging the Chief Constable, George Hambleton, the leadership of Sinn Féin ARA, Jerry Adams and Co., and Scabatice, also the British state, for collusion into the brutal murder of my father, who, by the way, was an unarmed man. Now, the names of those chief constables who all knew who murdered my father from 1974 and all withheld evidence about the murder are Arthur Young, Graham Shillington, Kenneth Newman, Jack Herman, Norman Andley, Ronnie Flanagan, Colin Gumholm, Hugh Ord, Matt Baggett, and the present-day Chief Constable George Hambleton. They all knew who murdered my father all along and kept it quiet just to protect their Sinn Féin ARA informer, Freddie Scabatice, a.k.a. State Knife. Thank you, Harley.
You're welcome. Yeah, I already knew some dirt on Arthur Young. Just to let people know, he was a commissioner of the City of London Police. And guess what's changed today? The commissioner of the police of the City of London. Nothing's changed. Corruption in them days, corruption in these days. He was also the Chief Constable of the Royal Ulster Constabulary from 1950 to 1971. So yeah, I've already been Googling some of these names. I do have something to quickly play. It's a long version, but it's only 1 minute 27 seconds. It's my show disclaimer, which I normally put on first. So we'll just hear this. Thanks for tuning in to Freedom Talk Radio. Freedom Talk Radio 2013 at gmail.com. Please call into the live shows on 01 444 390 270 from the UK. And from the USA and Canada, it's 347 677 0812. Freedom Talk Radio and the shows and hosts accept no responsibility whatsoever for the information contained in them. We do, however, try our very best to make sure that the information you get is accurate, but you need to do your own research, and please do not hold us responsible because we're only human. We hope you have a good day listening to the shows, and if you want to be a part of the show, a guest or a volunteer, do email or call in at some point when there's no live show on during the day. I repeat, the numbers are 01444 390 270. That's during the day, and 347 677 0812. And in the evenings, them numbers are for the live shows. Email Freedom Talk Radio 2013 at gmail.com and Skype Freedom Talk Radio 1. Yeah, so after obviously going to the European Courts of Human Rights for your dad and all the terrible stuff that you've been going through is probably going to take a long time also. Is there any other thing that you're doing to try and get justice before that? I mean, I do firmly believe in naming and shaming, you know, and I've got this website just being built by myself, and it's called Justice System from Hell. Now, justice can kind of mean anything. It doesn't have to be courts and legal. It can be, you know, any justice whatsoever. So if you've got any articles you want me to put up there, I've certainly got the steak knife videos. I've got the Omar bombing, false flag. Some of these I will play after we go off air today, and it'll still be attached to this 2-hour recording. So, you know, you'll be able to listen to the evidence of what steak knife was all about, the Omar bombing false flag that this person claims on YouTube. So, you know, we try and evidence base everything we say. So, yeah. So, what else are you doing then for Dad apart from, you know, that long-winded process of the...
Well, what I'm doing for the foreign Adam David is I have all his court papers. I have applied to the court to take my father's case to court here in the High Court in Belfast. Now, I've lodged all the papers. I've served them with a writ. Now, after months and months of waiting, they have come back to me and said that I am not entitled to get legal aid to take my father to court, which is damnable, because I have worked all my life at the Belfast docks. I was a docker. I worked all my life. So therefore, by law, I am entitled to get legal aid to take my father's case to court. The only reason they're stopping me is because of the scum I'm taking to court, the Chief Constable and his corrupt police force, Jerry Adams and the Sinn Féin ARA, and Skepetita. Now, I know for sure that the people that put in to stop me getting legal aid are also members of the legal profession, the PPS office, Borough McCrory, and also John Largan of the Attorney General. I have asked him repeatedly, I want an inquest of my father's death done, and he is point blank refusing it. They're doing everything in their power so that this case won't go to court. People in Belfast, business people in Belfast, who are willing to help me pay the fees of the court. And I've told the courts that go ahead with the case, but they're still hemming and hawing, trying to put me off.
Wow.
That's what I'm saying, David. They are not helping me at all. I'm 76 years of age. I've worked hard all my life at the Belfast Dock, so therefore I'm entitled to get legal aid. But for some unknown, well, I'm blaming the RUC, PSNI, because they are pulling the strings here in Belfast. And if I can't get legal aid, they think that I'm going to walk away. But they have another thing coming. I will be there to the death. Or on my father's deathbed, that I wouldn't let his case go. And I'm not. Well, it pleases George Hamilton and the RUC or not, I don't care.
Did you manage to get, is it a post-mortem or an autopsy? You was trying to get one of them.
There was an inquest on the way in 1975, but it wasn't a thorough job, of course. At that time, inquests were just but I want another inquest done, and according to lawyers, I am entitled to get that. And I have asked the Attorney General now for the past 4 years. I want an inquest done, and at times he doesn't even answer me. And this Attorney General, John Largan, as I know myself, and the dogs of the street know, that he's pro Sinn Féin area, and he doesn't want me raking up any dirt.
Wow.
And as I'm saying, I've said before on television, but we say it here on YouTube myself, and believe you me, I've been hitting these people hard and sore for the past 42 years I'm fighting a fraud case. That's a long time.
Well, from now on, I don't think you'll have any problems because, I just don't come with a radio show and then tomorrow it's forgotten about.
Yes.
Me and other people that we don't need to mention their names.
No, by all means.
And people behind the scenes that you don't know, and I don't necessarily know all of them, but if we pick up a good story or an unfair story, this will be blogged and blogged and blogged, and hopefully, some kind of, what we find in these cases when other people help to share the information, suddenly through your letterbox or on your doorstep, there will either be money, there will either be evidence, or there will be a note saying, let's meet and we need to discuss this. This is what we hope in your case is going to happen. In 2 years ago, 2014, the Daily Mail put up a good article, rogue Irish police officers colluded with the IRA during the Troubles and even stopped senior members being arrested, former Republican intelligence chief claims, and because, and I'll repeat, members of Arthur Rafferty's family claimed the RAC covered up his death. Mr. Rafferty was murdered by the IRA in Belfast in 1974. Now, my point is, if the National Daily Mail of whatever country, and it's the .co.uk Daily Mail, the national one of our country, in the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland, whichever way, because, how do I explain it? I've always believed, personally, from an Englishman living in Scotland, that your landmass should be your land. So, in our country, it's very similar. Why do the Scots, the Welsh and the English want to fight each other, over a bit of land and whoever's in charge? It should have been called Great Britain and done with it. But then equally, I'm on the side, and I hope I don't offend anyone here, I'm on the side where, for me, Ireland is north of Ireland, south of Ireland is Ireland. It's not Northern Ireland and Great Britain because you don't belong to our bit of land. Yeah. No different than Germany. That's difficult, I suppose, in Europe. You can't ask the French to be German, can you, or the Germans to be France? But when it comes to the islands off of the coastline, I'm sure they're entitled to have their own status, And what I'm trying to say is, with this Daily Mail article, not just claiming that this happened, they're actually agreeing with you, Alpha, that this happened. And they're naming the RUC that covered up the death. Because of this article alone, surely any good lawyer would say, well, the state owes you legal aid because it's a crime against one of your relatives. And because it's a crime, bingo, you get your legal aid.
That's what I'm saying, Andy. You would think so, that these people that are legal people would jump on the bandwagon straight away. But I think that the legal services here in Northern Ireland are corrupt. And I said that repeatedly, time and time again. And for that, they don't like me. I'm willing to pay all the money I have to take my father's case to court. Now, I'm waiting on a date, but it's gone on and on and on. They're stalling. And what it is, David, what's annoying me is, I worked at a Belfast doctor all my life, and I'm suffering from asbestosis. I don't know where you know that, but that is an incurable disease.
Yep.
And I have it now, 15 years. And I told my father on his deathbed that I wouldn't leave him until I get this sorted. And I'm going to stand by my word. But I'm just hoping that my health lasts that long. Because these people here have done everything in their corrupt power to try and keep me down. The newspapers here won't put stories in for you. The BBC won't put stories on for you. The UTV won't. They're all, it's like an old boys club, and they're not going to move. Unless I've been chipping away at them for years, and I know I have hurt them. And because of that, they're not giving me any help at all whatsoever.
Yeah, that's ridiculous because I think that they're going to gamble now that your asbestosis will bring you down quicker than you bringing them down. And trust me, and they've only got to look at exposetheestablishment.com, Google Team Setchfield, Google Freedom Talk Radio, and the Andy Petrie Show with Brian Setchfield, John Patterson, Nilu Berry, Sabine McNeil, Belinda McKenzie, Brian Garish from the UK column, Roger Hayes. I belong to a very loyal team of people, and we will share this information that Arthur Rafferty has given out. It's not it's not that we're on anybody's side, but justice should have been done in this case a long while ago, and it's not just you that's got videos up, and you're talking about the RUC and all the other organisations in Ireland, Northern Ireland. I'll have to say that all the time just so people don't get offended, because I've shared the show tonight with both sides of the political argument and both sides of the IRA and the RUC and the paramilitary. So I'm going to be polite by saying both Irish and Northern Ireland, and then there's no doubt that I'm on nobody's side, but trying to respect everybody.
That's what I'm saying, David. I recognise myself as Irish because, as you say, this is an island. It's not separated by land. It's a one island, so therefore it's Ireland. And the people that live here, that classify themselves as British subjects, I don't mind. There's plenty of room on the island for everybody. But there's these people from the DUP party think that everybody should be burn or walking to the Queen and kissing the Queen's hand. I have no interest in royalty at all. I just mind my own business, but I'm fighting my case, and believe you me, whoever stands in my way better get out of it, because I'll go right over the top of them. Because I see that I'm getting no help at all from the DUP or Sinn Féin ARA. Of course, they are the 5 people who murdered my father, so I don't expect any help from them at all. So there's no politicians here in Northern Ireland that I can turn to. So if your people, who you've mentioned there, good, honest, God-fearing people can help me, I will appreciate that.
No, we owe it to you for your age, we owe it to you for justice, and we owe it to you because your dad's had no closure, really. I know he's dead, but at the end of the day, I'm sure in heaven somewhere he's thinking, everyone's trying their best, but Arthur can't do it on his own. He needs some support, so that's why we do it. Now, politicians in Ireland and Northern Ireland and over in the UK, Scotland, England and Wales, they're all the same. So there's no difference there. The lawyers, the solicitors are all the same. The barristers. We even have in the regulation body now, the solicitors regulation body over here in London, they're sacking and getting rid of the good solicitors and they're keeping the bad ones.
Exactly.
Now that's got nothing to do, I don't think, with, the troubles over there, but it's the same problem though. The police in any country in our Great Britain and Northern Ireland and Ireland, even the Garda, in fact, I don't know if the Garda's worse than the RUC, but from what I've seen on the internet, we all have problems with lawyers, solicitors, police, crime, people telling the truth. And all we want as citizens is to be allowed to have the truth. And that makes life a lot easier as citizens. And, for the people, because what they forget is, you've been doing this 30 odd years, maybe 40 years. You must have younger family members that also want the answer. There may be, relatives of relatives that need answers for this death. It's not just one person. It's, people from, I guess, the Omar bombing. It was only recently in the last 5 years where, people did stand up and say, look, it was our fault, or we did it, or we didn't do it. It takes so long, for justice to come out, 10, 20, 30 years. And why is that? Are the police on the take? Are the lawyers on the take? Probably, I think the senior police officers that are near state retirement age, and the lawyers and all the people in public office. I think one day, when they've secured their pensions, there'll be a lot more whistleblowers come forward. But for now, you know, the younger police are listening to the older police, the ones who are not up for retirement for 10 or 15 years to come. And that's where there's big corruption, because they're bullying these young police people that are coming in. They're probably brilliant, but it's the middle-aged ones you got to watch out for. The older ones are retiring. You know, the younger ones are being bullied. The middle class, in the middle, I'd say 25 years to 50 years. If you meet a policeman that age, I'd run.
That's right. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Because the police here have a lot to hide, especially the older police, as you say. The young police coming in now don't know what they're signing into. But these people in the past have blackened their copybook. What other police force in the world do you know that hires terrorists to go out and murder innocent people? And don't pay them themselves. They're paid out of the public purse, which I think is scandalous. Yet when I go to the courts to try and take a case out of the public purse, they shut me down. Yet they can pay hundreds of informers, telling them what to do, and supplying guns to them, and give them the freedom to kill whoever they want. Like Rafferty is their main man, the jewel in the crown. They lifted him out of court. He should have been in jail for 5 years for committing perjury. They walked in front of a judge and the chief constable, left them two standing there like two muppets, and walked on past them. That's the power these people have. And Felix Rafferty, the people he has murdered, it runs into the hundreds himself. And all them informers that the police have been employing have murdered at least 10, sometimes 20 people each. So you can add that up, and it tallies up to a big score.
Yeah, can we, we'll call him Steak Knife because it's easier than his real name, which you've just mentioned anyway, and I can't pronounce it.
I'll tell you what, Andy, if you met him, you wouldn't want to meet him again.
No, what I'll probably do is I'll play one of the Steak Knife audio recordings from YouTube that I just got on YouTube myself, that I saw there. We'll play that in about 5 or 10 minutes, and then afterwards Neela's going to come on the line and we're going to talk a bit more, because she's a mind of information, Neela is. Now, Steak Knife then, tell me about the other 75 assassinations, or 74, that he's also allegedly murdered people.
Well, I know for a fact, because I met one of the top ARA men. He phoned me. I don't know the guy. I don't know anything about Sinn Féin. But he phoned me because of my stories in the paper. And because I was sick with cancer, and he's having cancer himself. So he thought, putting the two heads together would try and help each other. And he gave me the whole story about my father's death, because he was a top man there on the Falls Road. Rafferty sent two doctors into a pub where my father was drinking after a day's work at the Belfast Docks, took my father out, walked him around to Newington Street, knocked the door of number 12 Newington Street. The two walked away from my father, left him there. Out came two men, one armed with an armoured rifle and the other armed with a hand pistol. Well, my father, seeing two men with guns, what do? You run. And he run down, just a short distance down the street. The man with the armoured rifle came out and shot 12 rounds at him, up close range. 7 of those rounds missed them. And the other 5 cut the back out of them. And the two walked down, seeing the fire land on the ground. The man with the pistol, the next year, he was badly hurt, shot him. And they walked back as easy as they come into the house, put the guns away, got the taxi waiting on them, and took them down to the Lord's Road, where they had a drink in the Felons Club. The Felons Club down on the Lord's Road at that time was run by Sinn Féin ARA. And that is the same place where 2 days before there was a kangaroo court held, and my father's name was mentioned, and he was sentenced to death. Behind closed doors, of course. Because these people wouldn't have the courage to face my father face to face.
Well, that's
And that's what annoys me. That's what annoys me. At that time too, round in that area of North Belfast, there was the Shankill Road butchers happening. They were murdering people every night in the week. And there was traffic there, police on foot, army on foot, tanks, Saracens, you name it. They were around the streets stopping people all the time. Yet that very night, they had all the time in the world to take my father out of a pub, walk him around the house, shoot him 12 rounds. At that time in the night, you must have heard them, the noise had gone all over the town. Yet there was no army, no police. Everything was quiet. They had a clear run to do their job and go. And I asked the police how that happened, how it could happen in North Belfast, which was packed day and night with army and police because of the Shankill Road murders. But they could never explain it to me. It's not that they couldn't explain it to me, they wouldn't explain it to me. And they have yet to come to me to say they were sorry that they murdered my father. Because if they say that, the army, that it's going to let the public know that a so-called police force had ARA informers working for them, shooting innocent members of the public. Now, what type of a police force is that? And this goes right to the very top.
Yeah, it probably does. It usually starts that way, and of course,
well, I know for a fact it goes right to the top because the two top ARA men here at the time, and one of them's working in Stormont, or agents. The dogs in the street know that. Yet the people here seem to have to sit back and accept it. That's what annoys me. That's what annoys me most.
Yeah, okie dokie. Well, we've got loads to discuss, you know, at the top of the hour onwards. No, a friend can't come on. I misunderstood. Sorry. So what I wanted to do, because it kind of backs up everything you're saying, is I wanted to play this steak knife, one of the recordings, about 9 minutes, so you can sort of go away for a cup of tea and come back. I just want to show the public that, you know, this isn't just something you're saying, this isn't just something somebody else is saying, this is real. And I think I've got episode 1 here, and I'm going to play the second and the third at the top of the hour, you know, when we go off air. But
that's good, Andy, and I appreciate what you're trying to do for me.
Yeah,
I appreciate that.
I've got a quick question, though, before we break. So stay on the line till 9 p.m., but you know, make a cup of tea in the middle if you need to. But quick question, and it's all over Facebook anyway, it's all over YouTube. Was the Problems Island, Northern Ireland, a false flag, or was it real?
False. It was false.
Yeah.
That was false.
That's
I
what I've been reading.
That whatsoever.
Okay, then let's play the secret recordings then of Steak Knife. Just one of them now, and then we'll move on to naming and shaming some judges, because you've named and shamed some pleas.
Yes.
So we'll do the judges at 8 o'clock onwards, in 9 minutes' time. So yeah, just bear with us and remain there for me.
This is a test. See if the... For other cards, remember to enter square. Hello?
Hello, Frank?
Yes?
Yes. I've been in touch with Central.
Oh, yes, I heard that you gave us a call.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, and, well, I mean, it concerns the program that you've made.
Yeah, I gather you have a lot more important information.
Well, I mean, the stuff that you put out the other night was nothing.
Yeah.
Right? And, but you understand the situation. It's very dangerous.
I know.
Right?
Yes.
And I don't want to talk on the phone.
Okay. Where could we meet that is safe?
You say somewhere.
Well, where are you in Derry or Belfast?
Belfast.
In Belfast. Well, I would rather, if you think it's okay, meet you in a secure place like this hotel. I'll stay on here and meet you here. that way, the security is good here. I'm not therefore being lured into a place where I'm not certain of, and I can be a target. So I'm not saying you're not genuine, but we just have to both be careful.
No, I accept that. That's why I'm asking for you to make for the suggest a place.
Well, do you want to come here to the Culloden then? So I'll just stay on here. And what time can you be here?
It'd be a time that there wouldn't be many people about there. What you suggest a time there now? What, 7, 8 o'clock, something like that?
Yeah, that will suit me fine. Whenever you can get here, really. I mean, we'll go into a private room. There won't be any people overhearing and milling about.
Yeah, no, I accept that, but would there be any? Would I have to go into the Culloden to meet you? Would there wouldn't be another entrance for you to take me in or something like that?
What? So you're not seen by anybody? It's not possible in that sense, because they do have a security system here, and you have to go through the lodge where they make sure that it's a secure situation. You're not going to come in and burglarise the place or do anything nasty. So they have a permanent sort of security system where you have to go through a gate and be checked in.
Yes, you see, that's the problem.
Yeah.
Right? Because then you have to give your name and address, and you probably...
No, you don't. You don't have to do that. I can vouch for you. I can be up at the entrance and meet you, and they know who I am, and that I am, a guest, and we've been here before.
Do they know who you represent?
Sort of vaguely, yeah.
Would there be nowhere else we could meet in that area?
I'm not familiar with the area. So I could just say you're one of my associates. I wouldn't even have to give you a name.
No, yeah. But it's just in case there'd be somebody working in that place. Who would maybe recognise me. That's the problem.
Difficult.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Well, there's a car park outside. Do you know the Culloden at all?
I just know the main entrance.
Yeah. Well, in that where you turn in, there is an outside car park.
Right.
I could move my car out into the car park, and you could wait. We could sit in the car and talk.
Right.
And that way you wouldn't have to come into the grounds or be seen by anybody.
Right. That would do lovely.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'd rather do that at 7 o'clock if you can.
Right. I'll be there at spot on 7 o'clock.
Right. Let me give you the details of the car. It's a grey Peugeot. We'll just try and get the number. Hold on, I've got a car key somewhere, and it'll tell me the number on it. It's a grey Peugeot, BAZ.
Right.
Just remember Baz.
Right. That's lovely.
You'll know it.
I'll be looking for you.
Yeah.
Right.
What sort of stuff do you... I mean, can I give my boss some idea of what we might be onto here?
What he actually does.
Yeah.
See the person who is had on? He's got the theme of it wrong. Right? But I'll actually explain to you what he actually does.
Yeah.
On his car and everything else.
Is it worse than what we said?
Yes.
And can we prove it? Will you...
Well... So... I don't know now, you see, that's the problem.
Yeah, will we be able to, if he points us in the direction, will we be able to go off and get some of this stuff on screen, so to speak, to, try to get it out?
Or explain it to you.
Yeah.
If I explain the thing to you, and maybe we'll talk for a bit, you may then come up with something.
Right. Okay. All right, so what will I call you, John or Jack or...
Jack.
Jack?
Yeah.
Okay, well, you know I'm Frank then.
Right.
So I'll see you at 7 out in the open car park.
That'll be lovely.
Okay.
Cheerio.
Bye.
Hello, thank you, Jack. Yeah. Come in. There's the window. Have you a car over here? Just in case two people turned up, that was all. We took some advice. Okay. You know, if a couple of lads turned up, not to lock the doors and pick off quick. That's just my boss over there making sure I'm not in. He's not photographed or anything? No, he's not. I can ring him and call him off if you like. Would you please? Yeah. He's got his mobile phone. Oh, is that the phone in the room? Is that? Right. All right. Was that someone else? Okay. Bye. You can tell him to come over if you want, but... Yeah, I will, if you're okay. He's the producer of the program. General chat. I mean, did you know our friend Yes. Oh, I know him very well. Yeah. I know him about 20 years, you know. Yeah. And basically, see the thing you were putting across the other night in the program that he was in charge of the RA. He's not as such, right? It's a technical thing, right? The RA is actually split into two. There's a Northern Command, a Southern Command, right? He's in charge of Northern Command, right? He's a Northern Command OC, right? There's a Southern Command, but it has nothing to do with the Northern Command. The Northern Command basically takes in the 9 counties of Ulster, right? He controls all of that. He's also on the RA Army Council. Yeah. Right? Yeah. There's a 5-man Army Council. He's one of them. Right? Nothing happens in the Northern Command area that he doesn't okay. Yeah. And I mean nothing. Now, he's nothing to do with England. See what happens in England. He's nothing whatsoever to do with that. So the person that controls England is a South Armagh fellow. Yeah. Right? I was going to ask you, we sort of did the emotive thing and said, who could organise things like Warrington, and then said it's people like Martin McGuinness. So who would be responsible for Warrington? A fellow called Tommy Murphy from South Armagh in Cullerville. He actually controls all aspects of what happens in England and on the continent. Him and a guy called Tommy Keenan. Tommy Keenan's an ex-Belfast fella now living in Carlingford, right? They are the people that control what happens in England. Right.
Well, that's some revealing information, and if people want to Google Freddie Scappapachi, that's SCAPPATICCI, or steak knife, it will come up on Google, Freddie Scappapachi or steak knife. I will try and play part 2 and 3 of that, but they're on Google, YouTube, and the next 2, hold on to your seats and take something strong with you, because there's a lot of revealing stuff in these, and I think some of these have not been published that long. All of a sudden, I think, I don't know if it's them 2 particular videos, but there's a couple that's only been produced since our good friend Patrick Cullinane is disappeared, assumed dead or dead. Whatever the case is, there's a lot of stories going around, a lot of evidence that don't add up. Forget the circumstances for now, but Patrick Cullinane, the common law lawyer of the UK in London, was indeed, many occasions telling us about the IRA false flag, and he did go into it on a show once and didn't think much of it. But now I realise, I should have listened more, and we should have done what we're doing tonight, because I think you've got to connect the dots. If you connect the dots, people will start falling, the tsunami will happen, and everybody will get justice and peace. Well, I guess they will, as long as there's no judges that are bad. And I believe there's quite a lot of them, Arthur, in Ireland, Northern Ireland.
That's right, especially at the Laginside courts. Now, the Laginside courts is a family court for young girls that has children, maybe with bad boys or something like that. And the judges there won't even let the wee girls in to hear the case. They have to sit outside in the corridors while the judges and the lawyers and the solicitors talk the case over behind closed doors, like a kangaroo court style. The only one uses courts like that are terrorists. Yet these judges in the Laginside courts use that type of system here. Now, I wrote in to the Lord Chief Justice dozens of times about it, but the man hasn't the sense to even acknowledge my letters. Surely a family court means what it is, a family court, that members of the family can come down and help their daughters or sons, but they're not allowed into the courts. They're held behind closed doors. And whenever them corrupt judges say, goes. And then you come out, you get the lawyers coming out with the wee trolleys and the solicitors telling the people what the court says and the people sitting there. Why not have them in and let them hear what the judges are saying? Because all they need, all the solicitors and lawyers are after is the legal aid. That's all. And it's a farce. And I've watched that for the past 18 months in that court, sitting there just taking notes. Because I run two organisations myself, the Arthur Rafferty Foundation, that's a victims group to help people. And I've got wee girls coming to me in tears for what them judges have done to them. And the other one is for ASNI, that's the Asbestos Support in Northern Ireland, to help people who are suffering from asbestosis or mesothelioma. But the courts there are in a terrible state, and I have wrote repeatedly into the people that are supposed to know better. And they are not. All I hear from them is, that's the way it always has been and always will be.
Well, you've actually gobsmacked me there, because... And
there's two judges in particular there. If you want, I can mention their names. Or if you want, I'm looking into the past background at the minute. And when I do get their background, believe you me, I have it on my site on YouTube.
Yes,
the way they treat people in that court is ungodly, and people's human rights are being violated there.
Yeah, I know over here the judges and the lawyers do the same thing, but at least at the Royal Courts of Justice and most regional courtrooms, they do allow both parents in. We know they're never going to win, because the courts and the lawyers blame the mum, they then blame the dad, and then they blame each other. Make them blame each other. We know they're not going to win, but at least they're allowed to give their evidence in the family court, unless of course they're gagged, and then they're not allowed in then. But to not allow them in isn't any justice whatsoever. That's terrible.
As I have first-hand experience of this. It's always people talking and saying, well, who's he talking? He's no way. My granddaughter, 21 years of age, had a baby to a drug dealer. And this court system here has crucified her for the past 2 years, that she has to attend court, that this drug dealer wants to see his child. He hasn't seen the child well over 2 years, hasn't bought the child nothing, not even as much as a nappy. Yet this court system seems to be siding with them people and not with my granddaughter, who is doing a good job of rearing her wee child. And the child now is over 2-year-old. And I'm as proud as punch for her. But the way these courts are treating them, something will have to be done. Now that's why I picked these two special judges. I know there's something wrong here, and I will find out. My organisation, I have two men working on it now at the present time. And when I do find out, I have no problems exposing them.
No, and indeed, any God-fearing, justice-fearing person who's got some time will help you do the same, because, you know, it's common sense and it's just normal stuff that mums and dads, yes, you know, they may need help and that's what they should be getting. They don't want courts to block them out of court. They don't want mums and dads to be fighting over who did wrong, because, you know, if somebody did do wrong, fair enough, but if nobody did, they both should be sticking together, and the system should be helping them, and it needs exposing. But the trouble is, I don't know if Northern Ireland is the same as us over here, where disabled children and disabled families are being targeted. 2 seconds, we've got a caller on the line, our good friend John.
Hello, this is John Duane here.
Yeah, hello. Arthur, you probably know John. I was told you wanted to call in.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, John, for now.
Yeah, am I on the show?
You're on the show, yeah.
Hi, my name is John Duane. I'm a great friend of Patrick Cullinan's, and I am the other half of the Irish in Britain Representation Group. And I know Arthur. I spoke to Arthur. I know his story. And I just want to say, some of us know exactly what's going on in Northern Ireland, Southern Ireland, the UK, around the world. Who controls the corporate police, the corporate shadow government, the corporate councils, the corporate judges? It's very simple.
Expose them, my friend.
Well, it's very simple. What's going on is, it's all about collecting money, you know. My great friend tried to tell the world this, that there's certain entities trying to collect money to the infiltrated courts, the infiltrated corporate police, the infiltrated corporate councils, the shadow governments, the shadow military. It's very simple, Andy.
Oh, I know what you're going to say next. Can we put it into a polite way, just for the radio? You know I know what you're going to say, and I was well behind Patrick for that. And, you know, Patrick wanted this out the correct way, and I think we educated him for radio purposes just to put it into a different sort of way. But we know what you're talking about. And you're free to speak openly. That's what the show was all about. But I just didn't want no one to get into trouble, that was all, if you said it Patrick's way.
Yeah, no, as I say, it's without prejudice. Patrick was he was a very simple man. So am I. I'm a farmer's son. You know, I'm self-educated in all laws, especially known to man and beast, like Patrick. It's very simple. Our philosophy to the normal working man is very simple. You've got to educate yourself in common law. Common law, there's only one law, natural law, common law. Now, there's other interpretations of social contracts. In their interpretations called legalese, and EU interpretations and TTIP. Well, good luck with that. You know, but let me refer back to Arthur. I know Arthur. I know his story. Now, the problem is, how will he get equal access to justice? Well, he won't, because that's what's going on. This is what's going on here. Not just in Northern Ireland, or in the UK, or in America, around the world. So-called free societies, this is our problem as working men. And that's what you do in your show. Now, you know, this is what's going on. And will Arthur get justice? Well, I think he will. Because the more people that waken up to his story, the more people realize that we're getting messed up around. We're being controlled. They build a wall around us, not just in justice, but in councils and, in governments, shadow military. This is what's going on, Andy.
Yeah, John, can you, I believe in fate myself. Now, we know that there's some stories going around anyway, but forget the stories. I was only trying to get the truth out, but let's go down the line of, we've lost our good common law lawyer now, Patrick Cullinane.
But have we?
But have we? Yes, that's the 10% where I'm still on that sort of bridge. What I'm saying is we've lost him at the moment to do his work. He's probably not able to do his work. The point I was making is, alive or dead, and it don't really matter, do you think this story came my way and, other people that mentioned its way in coincidence with Patrick not being around for us to carry on educating people, what's going on?
You're talking about his philosophy, are you, Andy?
I ain't got a clue what I'm talking about. I'm going from a spiritual point of view that this story was sent to us to deal with now, whereas when Patrick was talking about these things every day of the week, nobody was actually taking them that seriously, which I did at the time on a show a couple of years back, but I didn't think it was that important. It was only when I got anonymous...
Absolutely right.
When I got anonymous... I got anonymous emails, and I got some emails from people we all know, but I got anonymous emails, and I've not mentioned this, but one of them gave me stuff that I can't broadcast. It is phone conversations, and I promised I wouldn't broadcast. To let this story flow, and see what happens before I release them or tell people who gave them to me. Anyway, and then other people have sent me these scapegoat things, steak knife things, and I'm thinking maybe people do want the truth to come out after all, but why did it have to wait for Patrick not to be around? Why couldn't he get the glory? He believed in all this. We're just educating ourselves with it as we go along. I mean, I talk about me and other people.
Yeah.
You two have probably lived with these problems all your life. Why couldn't they be dealt with 10 years ago, 20 years ago? Why now?
Well, it's very simple. You're only as good, your philosophy of truth is only as good as how you define things. Now, once you stand up within your definement, and you stand up when no one is listening to you, it's not until something happens to you that your philosophy will live on forever. Now that Patrick's not here, he will do more damage dead than alive.
And that's true with Michael Jackson and Elvis Presley selling records.
They're all taken out, they're all taken out,
Yeah, I'm talking about selling the records. They sold more when they were dead than when they were alive.
Oh, you're talking about money, are you?
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Is the world defined by money? But you know what, Andy? Some of us don't recognize money. Some of us only recognize truth at any cost.
Exactly.
Like Arthur. Because Arthur, if you listen to Arthur,
yes,
that man is 76 years old.
Yes.
He's got nothing to lose. You get me?
Well, I'm ready for them to murder me if they want. I mean, I've got nothing to lose.
Well, they won't murder you because you're too high profile.
Mm.
Yeah? So the greatest place to be is with a great big carcass on your back. Metaphorically speaking, Andy.
Yeah, I got the good Lord in charge that's helping every
well, funny enough,
move I make.
The one true merciful God.
Mm.
And they don't seem to like that, Andy. So there's things going on in the background in the world at the moment that no one understands. I understand it. I know what's coming down in the next couple of weeks. And now let's defer back to Patrick and his philosophy. You see, this is the funny old thing, the funny old sentiment about truth, yeah? Now all these inside agents that is proclaiming to be activists and all, etc., list not exhausted, yeah? They're all gone very quiet. Why is that, do you think, Andy?
Very simple. The race and the fight for good and evil, the good is now winning.
The light always trumps over the dark energies. Is that what you're trying to tell me, Andy?
Yeah, it's been a fight for good and evil for a long time.
But we're coming to an end now, you see. See, if you know what's going on, we're coming to an end. So it's all about standing up. You see, this is part of philosophy. Once you stand up, that's what matters.
One word, I mean, I won't put on the accent, but he did say we need to stand outside them judiciary offices and we need to be counted as people peacefully. Go there in your thousands, he said, peacefully. Tell them we're not having any more. And he was right. He was right.
Andy. He trained me. He trained me everything he knows. And one thing he told me was, John, be a man of love. Be a man of peace. Do true law. Find out what common law is. And then in order to find out common law is, you have to find out their shit. Legalese. Once you find out what legalese is, and when you go into court, which I do every week, and I go and I look at the judge in the eye, that snake, yeah, that's supposed to be a so-called judge, and it's not. I said, this is a place of sanctum. This is our embassy. We are the law. Now, the only people that can administer the law is a jury. Where are they? In the fucking pub? Yeah, I look at them in the eyes. What's your name? I say, you like things in threes. What's your name? What's your name? What's your name? And your date of birth, you motherfucker. But he won't. They'll abandon court. Yeah? And then I found out about a thing called trust, Andy. Do you know there's 3 trusts in every legal section under your birth cert? Do you understand what I'm talking about? So when you go into court and someone puts a claim against you, and that so-called fucking judge says, you want to plead guilty? I said, no, I'm not a fucking pig, or I'm not a sheep. I don't plead. Yeah? And you said to him, you've taken over my temporary control of my priority over my trust. You're my trustee right now. Have you got your checkbook with you, sir? Or your credit card? And then they say to me every time I go in court, case dismissed. Because they know we're onto them. And that's what's happening in the world. You see, people are waking up, Andy. The common man is waking up. And that's perhaps his philosophy. We're coming to them, Andy. And they don't like it. So the Italian Prime Minister resigned. The Austrian Prime Minister resigned. Deborah Cameron resigned. Yeah? You get where I'm going with this?
Yeah, well, the Austrian, me and somebody else that we both know, and they want to sort of remain undercover for now, but we know them very well, and we probably will text them every day, but I won't give the name out, but we hammered the Austrian embassy, the Austrian Prime Minister over a case called Suzanne Kellner-Johnson, and all of a sudden she was released from mental health hospital. We know people are claiming they did it, but I think it's a collective of everybody done their own little bit, and whether it be Carol Woods, Patrick Coyle,
absolutely,
you know, we all did our little bit. Nobody's brilliant to do it on their own. It has to be everybody doing their own little bit.
Yeah, the lone wolves, the mavericks. And
this is what I promised to Arthur, and Arthur's dad. I didn't get his first name, but I think it is Arthur. But
Arthur,
yeah. Yeah, Arthur and Arthur's dad will get justice because we won't stop now.
I'll make sure of it, Andy. I'll make sure of it.
And so will I, even if it's only sharing this interview every day about 1,000 times. I will make sure that it goes to the RUC, it'll go to the...
Right, I'm going to make a little statement here, right?
Carry on.
A very little statement, yeah? It's my truth, yeah? Without prejudice. The IRB, the IRA, the Orange Order, Inside Flag, they're the same secret society, it's a pressure cooker, it's all devised, it goes back to the Battle of Waterloo, like every war, World War I, World War II, Syria, Yemen, etc., etc., etc. It's all controlled by the same satanic motherfuckers that run this world, right? And their day is over. Simple.
Yeah, now
what went on in Northern Ireland, yeah? In inside war, right? Same way with all wars. But what's happening now behind the scenes, behind the scenes right now, is playing down. So it's all coming to an end. Immunity deals are going on. It's not good. They're all getting out. They can't even get off this fucking planet.
Now,
they can't go on the ground to their military
bunkers.
On the bunkers. They can't do it. They're all smoked out. We know exactly what's going on.
No,
so it's coming down now to it's coming down to the courts, councils, police, shadow governments, and they're all running. They're all scared. And so the inside agents, which you and I know about, they're all going very quiet. So Arthur will have his day.
Yeah, I want to mention, while you mentioned the Battle of Waterloo, because one good person that has been taken out wrote a book about the Battle of Waterloo. He wrote books about the Napoleon era. He wrote books about the Prussians and Wellington and all this.
Yeah.
And he was fitted up by Austria and by the UK London police. Allegedly, I'll put that on to the end just in case. Peter Hochschreiber. Now, he was about to write another book which would literally do what our friend in Canada would say, and that's a guy, I've forgotten his name already. Anyway,
it doesn't matter. Go on.
He would rewrite history, Peter Hochschreiber would.
So all history is bullshit.
Yeah, it would rewrite history because all this...
Battle of Waterloo was set up by Rothschild, and he took over the royals, and he impregnated Queen Victoria. 9 children, 1 died. I can go on. This is not written in history. Nobody knows history. I do. Yeah? And that's why you have the problem with the blood and all that with Rothschild. He submitted universities, shadow governments, and shadow councils. Very clever man. Very clever man. But his day is coming to an end. The 13 bloodlines is coming to an end. The cabal is coming to an end. And the rest of them, and all the other 6 entities and Heinz 57, if you know what I'm talking about, they're all coming to an end. So is the courts, the justice, the corporate this, corporate that. They're all fucked.
It's all about names as well. Sorry to leave Arthur there hanging, but, you know, I'll give you one example then. No, 2 examples. Television, you watch a program. It was deliberately called program because that is exactly...
Programming. Conditional.
Yeah.
Everyone is asleep.
And
they're all under the frequency of 10. Your primal gland is a sign of a penis. Why do you think Pope Boniface the 8th, 1302, Forrestal 1306, wore a great big primal gland? Why do you think that in the Vatican right now you've got a 13-foot primal tree? Because that was the first trust that was submitted. The second trust was 1655, the third one, which all courts and justice use to do claims against you, where they take temporary control of your trust as you deliver man on your legal fiction, your birth cert, forward stroke, and a dial title. This is how the fuck is over. People need to wake up.
And now,
this is what Pat was trying to tell one. This is our philosophy. We're here to help you.
Yeah,
and we don't recognize money, time, or gravity. Only love, truth. Simple as that, Andy.
Yeah, and one last word.
Yeah, go ahead.
Talking about justice now.
Yeah, go ahead.
Justice is because it literally is just ice. It's frozen. You don't get a chance to have any real justice. You know, it's just ice.
There's always a remedy, Andy. Always a remedy. You just got to waken up.
Have faith. And wake up, of course, yeah, because if I told somebody on the street, you know, just simple stuff like, do you know you don't have to pay your TV license if you don't really want to, and they wouldn't understand it. And
I get arrested all the time. I get arrested for having no license. I say, why would I need a license? Why? Tell me, Mr. Officer, corporate officer, are you a PC or are you an officer? Which one? See, they haven't got a clue. They have no idea. I'm here to help them. And once you get married and licensed, a dog license, a license, and you're going inside their jurisdiction. You want to walk into court and say, what's your name? John Duane? What's your date of birth? 28/11/64. Once I do that, that's it. I'm inside their jurisdiction. In the story. Gone. They're using my allied title, my birth cert, to get money out of the living man. And they've already taken out from the treasury, from the treasury. They have done it 3 times. It's all about the money. And their day is over. Their administration stuff, interpretation, jurisdiction is over. Because we're waking up. People are waking. That's why people are not sleeping. That's why they're arguing.
I tell you
because the polls have changed. The policies have changed.
I tell you what, we're kind of leaving Arthur here, and the few people have said, let's carry on with the IRA stuff and the troubles in Northern Ireland. But what I would like to do, John, in a future show, if you want to discuss how to get yourself away from the corporate body, then let's have
no problem at all. Very simple. Very simple.
Let's do what Patrick did on many of my shows and educate people, because it really is about Arthur tonight and his dad, really, for justice.
Yeah, no problem. You tell Arthur from me. I know Arthur. Arthur told me. Arthur, you will have your day, my son. You will have your day. Trust me. You keep doing what you're doing. You're at a level now where they're afraid of you, because you've got nothing to lose, because you've got no fear.
Great.
God bless you, Arthur. God bless you. I respect you, my brother.
Great. Thank you very much.
Fuck him. And I'm a sound mind, by the way. For the CIA and Mossad and everyone listening to this show and inside agents. Their day is over. Trust me.
I mean,
God bless you. I've got to go now. I've got to go and have the pint.
Okay, then have one for me. Guinness.
Yeah, God bless you, Andy. You're doing a great job. God bless you. Goodbye.
That's the big Guinness.
Yeah, good luck to you. Good luck, Arthur.
All the best, John. Take care.
He's gone.
God bless.
Yeah, we need a common law show in the future. So yeah, just do you want to carry on, or should we have a couple of minute break? Well, you've had a big break, so
no, you're okay. You carry on, Andy, if you want. Well, as I'm saying, Andy, I believe in John. Everything he's doing, he's trying to do is right. You have to keep on top of these people at all times, because if you let up at all, they think you have gone away. You know, that's why I keep chipping at them all the time. And as I'm saying, I want to get my father's case to court, but these people have done everything in their power to stop me.
Is there any names of judges that you don't like in particular?
Yes. There's 2 I have at the mind. I've had reports from people that came to my organisation crying about them, and I'm looking into their cases now at the minute. And I don't want to tell their name, but when I do get their names, I'll phone you, John, or Andy, and we'll put the names right through.
Okay, no problem.
Because these 2 has to be named and has to be mentioned. And I'll tell you what, D, if you're speaking to D, ask her about the name of that judge. He'll tell you.
Yeah, okay, I will do, yeah. So you mentioned your foundation a few times.
Yes, the Arthur Rafferty Foundation. I started that in 2004 for my father. It's called after my father. And it's a victims group to help people that are in the same position as I am. And I have helped hundreds of people that have problems in Northern Ireland, mostly with the courts and the police.
So is there a YouTube, a Facebook, or is there a website?
Yes, you go to arthurrafferty1@gmail.com.
That's your email, yeah.
And all my films is on that. And believe you me, Andy, I pull no punches with these people, because everything I'm saying is 100% true. They are the culprits. They have to be changed. I know it's going to be a big job. And at my age, I'm taking it on a bit late in life. But I keep plugging.
Well, no, what they do is they run you around in circles. Yes,
of course.
They make sure that they keep you interested, and then, you know, as time goes by, you know, you're realising that, you know, they're just wasting your time, really.
That's what I'm saying, Andy. And another thing I'd like to say, Andy, is to let the public know. My two organisations are registered charities, yet I haven't received one brown penny from the British government or from the Belfast Stormont. I can't get funding off them. Yet, last week, on television, all over television, Arlene Foster is shaking hands with a UDA man, and he gets £1.7 million. Yet I can't get one penny of them to help people, homeless people. Because I stand up and I talk at them. Not to them, I talk at them. And they don't like that.
No, you obviously know that's exactly how Patrick Cullinane was operating.
Yeah.
You know, but he did it in a nice, peaceful way, but he still talked, you know, at them, not with them.
Yes, well, I phoned Patrick twice. I had two long talks with Patrick, and I was just supposed to meet him. Unfortunately, I can't meet him now, you know, but I would have loved him to have met him.
I must admit, I've never met him, but he certainly was a brilliant person, and I think his name will live down in history for a long time. So at least, you know, you're lucky to have had, from what I've seen, the police ombudsman a little bit on your side, because the opening few paragraphs, I mean, I'll just read out a little bit. It says the RUC investigation into the murder of Mr. Arthur Joseph Rafferty, shot on the 15th of August 1974 and died on the 8th of September 1974. So there you go. They're agreeing to murder there and then, you know, and obviously the big report, and I'll send the address to them, and it's policeombudsman.org, PONI files.
Yes.
But if you Google Arthur Rafferty murder, police ombudsman, there's a PDF that you can have a look at the summary, and the complaints are the police failed to examine the crime scene, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. Right.
And at the end, they were quite reasonable. Well, no, I won't say reasonable, but they wasn't against you, but then again, you know, they're not actually doing nothing still.
For the simple reason, Megan McGuire, the ombudsman, he is completely under the thumb of George Humboldt, the chief constable. Now, what he mentioned in that, he said the police made mistake after mistake, no forensic, no nothing, losing all that stuff, losing my father's clothes. But and then at the last he says he doesn't find collusion between the police and the informers, which is totally diabolical. The dogs in the street here in Belfast know they are arm in arm with the Sinn Féin area terrorists. And Skepetici was their jewel in the crown, yet they hadn't the courage to come out and say, yes, he worked for the RUC PSNI.
Wow, yeah. I'm just going to read out your YouTube channel to people, just in case, you know, that they didn't hear it earlier on.
If you go on to Arthur Rafferty YouTube, all my stories is on it.
Yeah.
And my email is arthurrafferty1@gmail.com.
Yeah, in fact, it's called Arthur Rafferty, just Arthur Rafferty, sorry, yeah, and
yeah.
We've got Time for the Corrupt Stormont on there, we've got Blatant Collusion and Corruption for All to See,
yes.
We've got Time for Honest Truth, You Hate Catholics,
yes.
Corrupt Laws to Appease Terrorists, What I Have to Do to Get Justice,
yes.
And your own story that I played earlier on.
Yes.
I don't know who that was made by, but that was definitely on your YouTube Arthur Rafferty channel. So let's get all your contact details out. And
another thing on the if I can say it, my granddaughter has a baby boy. He's only 2-year-old, and he's called Arthur Joseph Rafferty III.
Wow.
After me and after my father. And if I live long enough to see that little lad grown up, he will know the whole story. And I hope when I'm gone, he will take over.
Yeah, somebody asked a question. Is the Arthur Rafferty Foundation a charity?
Yes, it's a registered charity. But I must be the only registered charity in Britain that doesn't get funding. I've applied dozens of times. No, they won't give me funding. And yet I'm helping people day and daily.
Maybe
and
that...
as I'm saying, Andy, excuse me, as I'm saying, with my asbestosis, I went to court here in Northern Ireland, the High Court, and won my case. And any money I have, I'll be saving it up to put into the court case. Because if I have to pay my own fees in court, I will do it. Because I want to get these people, bring them to court to let the public know what type of people they are. And how low they would stoop to hurt ordinary people.
Yeah, I think it's because you're helping people, and if you save 20, 200 people, that's 20 or 200 people that they can't take money from, so that's probably why they won't fund you. I knew a lady that ran a charity for a few years. She made about 200 or 300 pounds in donations all the time.
Yes.
And she ran a website as well, but she applied for National Lottery. She applied, done fundraising whatsoever, and really there wasn't any big grants at all given. And she was helping people, very similar to you.
Yeah, but only what annoys me is that story of that fellow Step D Step and Arlene Foster. It was all over the papers, shaking hands, hugging each other. He gets £1.7 million. This man is a terrorist, a UDA terrorist. So where is that money going? No one knows. Yet he's supposed to be in a charity too. It seems to be, to me, in Northern Ireland, if you're a charity and belonging to a terrorist organisation, either UDA or Sinn Féin, you will get all the funding you want. That's what I think.
Well,
as I said, it doesn't affect me at all because I have 25 people, volunteers. These people work for me for nothing in their spare time. And they go into the town with collection boxes, lifting whatever the public hands them. That's where my funding comes from. And I can say with confidence that I owe this government here in Northern Ireland nothing.
My mum would have said, they gave you nothing, you don't have to thank them for nothing. And when you go, you'll leave them nothing.
Absolutely right.
Yeah.
Absolutely right. Because I've asked them for money to help people. I have people coming into me night day and daily asking for money for food. And the street banks in the town know like so. So it shows you the state of the situation here. Yet you get that woman, Arlene Foster, £400 million up in smoke, and she doesn't care. Sort of a system have we here.
Well, it's obviously, without going too much into it, there's 4 or 5 words I could use from a comment here. Pirates, satanic, philanthropists, secret societies.
Yeah. As I said, Andy, a couple of times on my YouTube, and I got some comments back from so-called British people. I call this the most corrupt country in the world. And I mean it.
Yeah, well, obviously I've lived on it all my life as well in this country. And do you know, when I go on holiday, now this you may understand this a little bit. It's not about going on holiday as in, I'm away from work, I'm away from home or whatever. The sun's better or the food's better. I actually, when I go on holiday, I think, God forsake me if I have to go back. I'd love to be on that holiday forever because even though it's only a dream, a holiday is only a dream in a way. I was always hoping that I'd meet the right connections when I'm abroad for me to stay there, and I never did, unfortunately. And my poor, sorry, I was reading something. My dreams have never sort of came to anything. My poor family. My wife was raped in a Catholic church in Glasgow, and then when she was older, She was raped as an adult.
Oh, God.
So she had all this mental stuff going on, all hidden. And then, we started getting picked on by social services up in Scotland called social work, short for social workers. The wife had a breakdown. We lost their kids. They're now 17 and 18. And they're going to be in the adult care system now to at least they're 25. So that's my story in a nutshell. I've never gone mad because I do believe about sweet revenge. So I moved back to the area in the northern part of Scotland where we live now for what I call sweet revenge, which means I'll make sure justice is served around here, that no other child or family have to go through what I went through now. Although I'm not actively going to court with people and actively doing what you're doing and Patrick did and probably John's doing every day, I actually, let them air their story, let them come round and have a chat, and if they don't want to go on the radio, educate them, onto what's going on. Another person I have to take my hat off, though, to is a young lady called Ruby Akhtar. Now, she was in Pakistan as a young child, and this is happening big time. In fact, before I say the brief of the story, over in the UK now, it says that international child traffic... International child brides, that was a headline recently, if people Google it. International child brides are now being part of the norm and is accepted. Now, she was a few years of age in Pakistan. She had problems with her family. She escaped, or she was brought over to Northern Ireland. She then had abusive... she was married, at 12 or 13. There was abuse within the home. She jumped out the window to escape. Her husband was son of Lord Hillis of Essex Records. I don't know if that's familiar, but she's now recently with, and he was 32 when she was a child. Second floor she jumped from, by the way.
Oh, God.
And she's she's told her story in a book called Goodbye Ruby Akhtar. That's Goodbye Ruby, Akhtar, or Akhtar anyway. And she now lives in London. She's helping people with rescuing them. She was on a fake passport. Now the government and the authorities in Northern Ireland and in London for that matter had no belief in her story because they didn't want to know it. The only person and people that have really helped her is her friends in London and, of course, where she lived in Northern Ireland, Ballygowan Road. I believe there was some good people nearby there that helped her, but no one wanted to know, and the only people in authority that did help is her doctors in one of the hospitals in London. I think it's an alternative hospital as well, rather than NHS. But, the poor woman's gone through nightmares, and so trafficking of children are happening every day, and, you traffic them in loads of different ways. The one we know about that happens in front of our eyes every day is a child going into court with mum and dad. The mum or dad or both lose custody. The child then is trafficked because somebody takes a pay. I don't know what it is over there, but let's say they take a figure, money, to take that child into care. The social work gets a bonus. And then when the agency in that part of the country decides then that, we need to move that child for whatever reason to another area, the second area gets the money. So that is legalised child trafficking. I've just got Dee calling in, actually, if you want to hear from Dee. Hello, Dee. Have you been listening to the show?
I have, yes. Are you still on it?
I am, and Arthur's here as well.
Oh, my God. Is my office... Oh,
hello,
I'm so
Dee. How are you? You keeping well?
Oh, my God. Trudy, I'm so proud of you. I am so proud of you. I've just been listening to... I've just got in. I've just been listening, and then, thank goodness, thank God for Andy. Arthur's got his story out.
Thank you.
Oh my God, I'll be seeing Arthur this week. Now I'm going to clarify who the name is. Is this David McFarland, the judge, Andy?
Okay.
Judge David McFarland, who was the one I was talking to on the radio last week about, was an ex-RUC officer involved in Bloody Sunday, stayed in the RUC, then came out of the RUC, went in as a civil servant, then came back out and went in as a DI, detective inspector, went from a detective inspector, and then from there worked his way through as a solicitor from the RUC to a civil servant, from a civil servant to a solicitor, from a solicitor now to the highest court, to the family court in Belfast. Now let me say something for David McFarland, who is a judge, is money laundering, is drug dealing, is abusing mentally, physically children in the family court here in Belfast, Northern Ireland to other listeners who's listening. That man has to be stopped. That man will be stopped. I have every evidence on that man, factually on paperwork. I've got a mole installment that I will not mention. I've had that mole installment for 6 years, and I have got everything on David McFarland and Fiona Begler. Fiona Begler, who slept with the coroner, is it the coroner? What's the other one? The coroner or the
Lord Chief Justice.
That's it. Thank you, Arthur. The Lord Chief Justice. Right, Fiona Begler used to be a solicitor, slept with the Lord Chief Justice to get a job as a High Court judge sitting beside David McFarland as a family court, High Court judge. So, this is what's going on in the courts today. That's who's running our law court system today. And then victims, let me clarify, Arthur's not a victim, he's a survivor. But for many victims out there that Arthur's working for, and for many homeless people that Arthur's working for, and like Arthur says, the public are donating to Arthur, not Stormont. Do you know what they did to him? And I was there as a witness. Nigel Dodds, hang your head in shame. DUP, Democratic Unionist Party, Nigel Dodds phoned Arthur Rafferty, and if he's listening, and any DUP member is listening to this right now, I'm going to bring you down. You tried to set Arthur up, Nigel Dodds, and he phoned Arthur Rafferty up, and he offered Arthur Rafferty a meeting about the asbestos that Arthur's been working on that has no public funding whatsoever, no Stormont funding whatsoever, right? And he won't get funding because Arthur will not shut up about his father's case. And he's gone to everybody, the whole of the North in Stormont, of politicians. Now, Nigel Dodds, up the backside of Arlene Foster, 400 million given to a UDA man, D. Stick, who is the boss, the co-founder, CEO of Charter NI. D. Stick is the CEO of Charter NI, charitable registered organisation. Now, £1.7 million goes into D. Stick's hands, who is a terrorist, still today on the streets on the Northern Ireland, living in the Shankill. He lives down in Ballymoney. Still today, I spoke to 4 different people who said to me, Dee, I used to be in the UDA. Dee, I've walked away from it all now. All I want to do is get on with my family life. But unless I pay a £600 levy, now that's 600 levy to Jackie MacDonald and Dee Stitt, who are running a parliamentary organisation of the UDA and the UVF today, right? 4 people telephoned me today, and I recorded the phone calls to tell me that they have been told if they do not pay a £600 levy, they'll get a punishment beating, but they cannot leave the UDA. They want to leave the UDA. They want nothing to do with parliamentary people, but they're not allowed to leave them. So the UDA and the UVS have got control of people and their families and their children today. Nigel Dodds, so that's going on that. So this is the man that then magically gets 400 million, this heat grant, the whole thing that's all over the media today, but I knew this in September. I told the public. The public went, oh, Dee, come on, it's not that bad. Oh my God, are you people brain dead? This week's team, Arlene Foster, has financed out to our own DUP members, Democratic Unionist Party members, Nigel Dodge being one of them, Sammy Wilson, Paul Durbin, Edwin Poots, who's the other one? Sammy Wilson. Every member, let's just say every member, don't exclude one of them, but every member of the DUP, right, has benefited from this.
Sorry, because we're limited for time tonight, I've just said to people out here that's messaging me, I said, your information is always dynamite and electric. Now, tell us, because someone wants to know about the family courts, what are they doing with the children they steal?
Right, what they're doing with the courts, real quickly before you got the show, what they're doing with the family court. This is a family court. A family court, as you know, Andy, is closed off to the public domain. Whether it's Britain, it doesn't matter where it is, but here in the north in Belfast High Court, the family court is shut off to the public. Now this judge, McFarlane, David McFarlane and Fiona Begler are the High Court judges for this family court, and what they're doing to children, they're taking them in the courtroom. There is PSNI and SAS and MI5, you name it, that is bundled into the courtroom with social workers that are corrupted up to the hills, that are stealing children, the one we talked about last week, right? They're going in with these children. They're taking children away from families, just grabbing them in the middle of the night, putting the parents under the mental health act, and then stealing the children. The children are before the court. And then Judge McFarlane, David McFarlane, XRUC, is mentally and physically torturing these children in the courtroom. And these children are going up in front of the judge. And then a young girl, a 7-year-old, let me clarify, 7 years old, said, what does a long willy look? How on earth in my mind would a child know that word? And that's what a 7-year-old girl says. So that's what's going on. Physical and mental torture is going on with these children inside of a closed family courtroom that Arthur's been denied into, I've been denied into, to get photographic evidence, to get video evidence. We've all been denied. We're not allowed in. They shut the doors on us. We're not allowed in a closed court. It's a family court. It's confidentiality. But they're mentally and physically abusing the children inside of that court. And then they're pushing them out the back door, and then they're taken away in a van by social services, and we never see them again. And they're in the care system all over the world, whether it be Ireland, Britain, America, it doesn't matter. It's a bit like the days Arthur knows about the project children. It's a bit like that. It's a bit like the project children back in the day. They go away for 6 weeks and they come back because of the troubles. But the project children that I call the children today, but you never see them again. And they're physically and mentally tortured inside that family court today. Belfast High Court.
Wow.
And me and Arthur have been trying to get evidence and they won't allow us. And they think because Arthur's on his own and he's getting elderly now and he looks vulnerable, let me tell you, that man will take down anybody. But they think he's on his own. He won't do nothing. They'll try and shut him up. And as he gets older, he'll just die off and it'll all be forgotten about. No, it won't. Not by me and not by anybody else. And like he says about his grandson will be old enough to talk about it. But Nigel Dodge tried to set him up last week to have a meeting about asbestos up in Stormont. Arthur went up to Stormont because he wanted to have a meeting about the asbestos, get funding, etc., or whatever Nigel Dodge wanted. When he got up there, the secretary gave a list to Arthur about the people who were going to be in the meeting. When Arthur looked at the paper, there was Sinn Féin, Paul Maskey and Martin Mullier, because I found out who it was. It was Paul Maskey and Martin Mullier, and Martin McGuinness's names were on that list to be in that meeting with Arthur. But Arthur looked at the lady and she said, I should have had that list of who was going to be in that meeting. No, Nigel Dodge tried to set him up and Arthur says, no thanks, goodbye. And then ended up with Sinn Féin and DUP, ended up 17 of them sat in the room talking, sitting all around a circle, couldn't talk about nothing because the main man wasn't there, which was Arthur.
Right, one last question then, because this will take the 5 or 6 minutes. I've got a meeting at 9 o'clock. Otherwise, we could go on a little bit longer. But what kind of people get to foster these kids? Are there any link with the foster children and the churches?
Yeah. So there's links to the Catholic Church, to the Methodist Church, Church of Ireland, to the Christian Brotherhood. Now, there's a man, Pastor McConnell. Pastor McConnell, everybody around the world would have known about this last year. He was arrested and charged with inciting Islamophobia. Pastor McConnell. And he runs a church in South Belfast. That the ex-First Minister, Peter Robinson, who is now over in London, who I got resigned over 8 months ago over the Norma deal. So Peter Robinson is now sitting in London, in Westminster, getting paid a pension, getting paid thousands of pounds over in London. You're paying for him, and every British person over there is paying for Peter Robinson. And what happens is the Methodist Church, the Christian Brotherhood, that involves the Presbyterian Church, the non-Presbyterian Church, the Church of Ireland, the Catholic Church, especially the Catholic Church, are involved with the PSNI, with the RUC, all covering for each other with social services all through the Republic of Ireland to the north of Ireland. And then when the children are in the courts in the north of Ireland, they get shipped over to the Republic of Ireland, and then they get shipped out from the Republic of Ireland, wherever, to England, to America, to Australia, wherever it is. But it's Gardner and PSNI that are adopting or foster caring these children. Because the case I talked to you about, the lady that was sent to Mountjoy jail, and it was a Gardner that arrested her over car tax fines, took her children away, and I got her 3 children out of Mountjoy jail when I bonded her out. And it was a Gardner that had the children, it was that Gardner that arrested her in the first place for fictitious car tax fines that she didn't have. So it's all going over, especially in the Catholic Church and the Presbyterian, the Freemasonry, you name it, it's going on all over. And they're covering each other up in the back doors.
Well, Arthur, any final comments on all this?
Well, listening today, I'm as proud as punch of her. Every word she says is exactly right, because this country here in Northern Ireland is the most corrupt country in the world. And it takes people like Dee and me to get on a show like yours to express to the public what we think of this great little country of ours. It's totally corrupt. And Dee, I'm very, very proud of you.
I'm proud of you too, sweetie. I love you.
And I hope you're keeping well.
I am, sweetie, but when I talk to you, I feel a lot better.
Good. Thank you very much.
I love you, sweetie. I'm going to ring you later, Arthur, okay?
Fine. Thank you very much.
I'm just going to close the show now because I've got an important call at 9.
All right, Andy.
Thanks, Dee. Please keep in touch. We need to do more of this when you're able to. And Arthur, please, come back again on other shows because
anytime on it. And only if I could have a copy of this show, I would put it on my site here in Belfast.
Okay, then no problem. If you ring me tomorrow, I'll get your email address.
That's great.
Many thanks to everybody, and thanks for tuning in.
Killarney. See you live across the UK in March with Priority. If you're on O2, get Priority tickets up to 48 hours before anyone else right now. Search for Priority. Killarney. Live across the UK in March. Be there with Priority. O2. More for you. Terms apply.